Hello. All right. Let's see how this goes. Hello. So here I'm going to continue with the room that I was doing in the last stream. All right. Let's see how this goes. Hello. So here I'm going to continue with the room that. I'm going um to set my reference here. I want to do something like this time with this fading here and a bit longer hair on the top. So I'm going to paint the map using Moodbox, and for the groom I'm going to use Ornatrix for Maya. This is version 2.5.3. So this is what we end up in the last stream. I'm going to start by removing these nodes because I want to just go one step back and start with her from guides. I want to paint the map from scratch so you can see how I do it and why. The hows and the whys. Okay, so I'm going to remove this, and this. And just keep edit guides and change width. So I'm going to load my mesh in Moodbox. I have it here already. And I have some lines to see where I'm going to paint my distribution mask. Basically, what I want to do now is paint a map. Let me add her from guides first. Basically, I want to paint a map to determine where the hair will grow, because right now the hair is growing on the whole mesh and we don't want that. So let me change the triangulation type to nearest neighbor triangulation, so we get this nice flow that goes with the guides like this. So I want to paint a map to determine where I want hair and where I don't want hair. This is the first step in this stream. So I have my model here in Modbox, and I'm going to paint in white the areas where I want hair and black the areas where I don't want hair. So I have these lines here. I'm going to just decrease the opacity like this. Oops. And I'm going to add a new layer to paint white. Let me take a very sharp brush, strength to 100%, advance, mean strength to 100% as well. I want those sharp edges. Fall off, I want to set the fall off all the way up like this. What else? What else? Yeah. No, not yet. I want some sharp edges. Maybe it's like this. Oops. No. Okay. I think that's fine for now. So I'm going to paint white all this area here. Let it just go over the line a little bit. Because then we are going to use a length map to refine the hairline. So we can go over the line like this and then remove those hairs using a length and a width map. So the transition between the facial hair and the hair on the scalp will be a lot smoother. So I like to do this, just go over the line like this, and then I will show you how to make a smoother transition there, just like this. The reason I am not using the mirror options here is because the model is not symmetrical, and that's why I have those lines as well to find the symmetry point. I know, but this is what we have. So this is a really simple process, not rocket science. Just paint white where you want the hair. Like this. Make sure that you don't leave any black pixels there, because then you will have blank hair areas. Just make sure you are using 100% white, and you have sharp edges, or as sharp as you can. Let me use a bigger brush. There you go. And just to make sure we don't leave any black pixels there, and that everything is white. So we get a nice hair distribution. Okay, so this is our distribution map. Let me rename this layer to this map so we know what it does. And I'm going to hide this and export this map. Export channel merged. That's me. Okay, let me save it here as this map. And let me go back to Maya to test this map. So to connect this map to Hair from Guides, we are going to plug it into the distribution multiplier slot here. So, but first, let's go over the settings in here from guides again. So I'm using the even distribution type. This here, let me open my little tool to draw here. Just a second. Let me put this here. So the tools here are the distribution settings. This is the way that the hair roots will be distributed on the scalp or in the mesh. For example, we have UV, we have random, well, this is uniform. As you can see, there is no randomization in the way the hair roots are distributed here. So you can see a pattern, and we don't want that. This is random. This is by vertex. So for each vertex in the mesh, we will get a new hair. And we don't want that because with this, the hair amount will depend on the mesh density. In this case, I'm going to use even distribution. This way we get some nice roots. They are located at an even distance between them, and we can still control the hair count with render count and viewport count fraction. Okay, okay, there. So now I'm going to use the map that we created to plug it into the distribution multiplier so we can remove all this hair from the rest of the body. So just go here and connect a file node and load the texture, this map, there it is, and open, and there you go. Let me increase it a little bit so you can see it better. A little bit more. And the second settings that I change for this type of hair are here in the guide interpolation settings. The first thing that I do is change the guide selection to barycentric interpolation. This one doesn't look very good in this case, and I find with this type of hair and with long hair, barycentric works better. For guide interpolation, I choose a fine interpolation. This will create a very smooth hair length interpolation like this. Instead of doing this and this, it just create a smooth line in the hair length like this. And in this case, this is exactly what I want. Then we have guide count. For this, I use interpolate between 3 guides, so we get more hairs between 2 guides. For triangulation type, the 2 new ones are manual triangulation and nearest neighbor triangulation. Distribution mesh, it was the first one, the old one, and it's a little bit faster than these two, but the hair interpolation is not that good. As you can see, we have like some patches of hairs like here, like here, and it doesn't look very smooth. It may work better with long hair, but with short hair like this, it doesn't look very good. So I'm going to use manual triangulation. As you can see, it looks much better, or nearest neighbor triangulation. They were very similar, but in some cases you can see the difference much better. So as I was saying about the hairline should be like this, but I painted over the line so I can create like a smooth transition between the the facial hair over here like this and the hairline. And to create this transition, I'm going to use a map in the change width node here in the width multiplier, and a map in the length node as well. The length node is this one. Yeah, this one. I'm going to use a map in the length multiplier here. But for now, let's remove this and go back to the to her from guides and see. Well, right now I'm not going to change anything else. Yeah, just let's go with this and let me save this as a new version. And okay, now I'm going to paint the length map to start removing hair from the hairline and make something smoother. Something like this. So I'm going back to modebox. What is it? Yeah, I'm going back to modebox and I'm going to add a new layer here. Whoops, no. A new layer. I'm going to call this length. Length map. And let's reveal the lines, and let me decrease the opacity of this so I can see the lines here. I'm going to paint in black. What is happening? Okay, now it's painting. I don't know what happened there. Okay, so let's bring the lines back and reduce the opacity here and paint my length map. So I'm going to try to create a smooth transition between the black and the white here and stop on the lines. But I'm going to, okay, yeah, first I'm going to reduce the strength. I'm going to increase the minimum size so the brush is always the same size, and start painting like this. Let me reduce the strength just by half, like this. Then create this nice gradient here. And the reason I don't do this in the distribution map, let me show you, is because the distribution map here is a multiplier. So when we create gradient values between black and white, we will get like patchy areas. The transition between the areas without hair and the areas with hair will not be as smooth as you would like. So I fixed that using a length map instead. So if we cannot get a smooth transition between the hair, instead of removing the hair, I'm going to just make them disappear, gradually disappear. I I hope that's clear. So let's go back to the painting. And let me just show you my reference here. You can see here in this reference, here we don't have a very, here, oops. Okay, I cannot draw, okay, yeah. You can see we don't have a very sharp line here, but it just, here we have less hair. You can see how like the hair start to get thinner and the density decreases when we approach this area here. It's less and less hair. And this is not part of the haircut. This is just like how the hair grows. So we are going to try to imitate that. But first, let's paint the base of the length map, which I'm going to just go on top of the line, and then we will add those extra details on top of the line like this. We will add those extra details in a new layer, just so we can go back in case it doesn't look good. Like this. If you have any question, just let me know. Feel free to interrupt. Here I'm going to use a bigger brush to get it a bit more smooth. There you go. I'm going to hide the lines to smooth it a little bit more. The hairline doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, it looks much better if it's not perfect. Okay, so we now have a length map. Let's increase this back to 100% and export the map. This will be the length map. And save this just in case. Okay, so we add a length node, is this one here. And without changing anything here, we are going straight to the value multiplier and add a file node and load the texture there. Length map here. Okay, now let's compare what we have. Okay, that's looking better. Okay, okay, now let's work in this area here. Reduce the, why it's not working? Okay, now reduce the density around this area using the length map as well. Going back to Moodbox, I'm going to add another layer on top and let's call it this length detail. Decrease the strength a lot more, and with a big brush I'm going to just paint a little bit of black here and in this area here, the hairline on the front, this side as well. Not too much. This is about adding details gradually on top of each other until we get the result that we are looking for. And the same on the back. We can observe this effect on the back of the hair as well. So we don't have a reference for that, but it's pretty much something like this. Smooth this area here. Yeah, let's try with that. This should be on top. This. And export again. I'm just going to reload the map. Exactly. You can see here the effect that we are looking for. Before and after. Before and after. Okay, this will look much better when we add the fade map. And you can see here that some hairs are going into the mesh like this. We can either fix this, grooming the guides, or we can also add a push away from surface node, and it will just push the hair away from the mesh like this, so they are not going into the mesh anymore, and we get some nice flow here. Maybe even too much. You can see they are going too far from the mesh, so we can decrease the distance here. Something like this. Okay, so now it's time to start experimenting with the fading with this part. You can see that we had like 1 and 2 and 3 levels of in the fade. Here the hair will be like 0 length, here 1, and here will be 2. So let's try to replicate that. Let's go back to Modbox, and we will add another layer. This will be called fade level 1. And what I'm going to do is just paint 100% black. Let's see. Up to here. And the same here. 100% black. I'm going to copy this layer, duplicate, selected, yeah. I'm going to call this level 2 and paint black again up to here to create the other level. This time it should go over here like this to the back. Let's try to make this symmetrical. And this side as well. Okay, I think I have to, this one is too high. This side is too high. Let's start removing it like this, and maybe a little bit lower here. Oh god, I wish this model was symmetrical. Okay, more or less we are there. Oops. Okay, and duplicate again. Duplicate selected. Level 3. And this time the fade start here is in the top area like this. So this one should be easy. Black again. No, let's just start here. And fill this whole area. Let me refine a little bit here. Okay, now let's give this a try. Let me save. And so the trick is, or what I do is, I have my level 1. I'm going to leave this one with the opacity at 100%. Then with the level 2, I'm going to reduce it like this, maybe 70%. Let's try that. And the good thing with this is that we can just go back and tweak it, reducing the fading, so it's non-destructive. Maybe even less for this part. And less. Okay, here the darker the values, the shorter the hair will be. This is why in the level one, I left it at 100% black. Maybe it's not a good idea because the hair never goes to zero length. It's just very short, super short, but the hair is still there. If I use 100% black, the hair roots will probably disappear, especially if we use this map in the width node to determine the thickness of the hair. So it's not a good idea actually to leave it at 100%. So let's increase to 90, 95 maybe, or maybe 90% like this, maybe 85. Yeah, 90, it's okay. And we can even just add an extra layer here, down here. Let's call it, I don't know, level 0, and paint a little black here. Yes. And here as well. Yeah, that's fine. So we have this. Now I'm going to use the blur brush to blend between all those levels. Starting with level 1, I'm going to just do this like this, and this side as well. You see, this is really easy. You just have to know how to paint. If you know how to paint, you can create some really nice transitions and improve your room a lot by adding details like this. Just have some fun with the maps and experiment with them. And you don't actually have to use maps. You can use strand channels or strand groups, but we can see that in another occasion. For now, let's stick to the maps. For this one, I'm going to decrease the strength a lot because I don't want this to be too extreme. Maybe something like this. Not too much. And let's try this. And that's a good thing because we can just try, and if it doesn't work, we can just keep tweaking the maps uh, and see if we can find the right combination of opacity. So this is not a length map. This is now a fade map. So I'm going to change the name just to make it clear, and there you go. And we are going to use the same length node anyway. So let's load the map, fade map, see what happens. And it looks better, yeah. Yeah. I think the hair color doesn't help. Let me change it to black. Here we have an Arnold shader. And I'm going to decrease the hair width with the change width node. Here in the width value, we can reduce this, maybe, yeah, very low like this. And also increase the hair density so we can have a better idea of how it will look in the render. Maybe 100,000. Let's give it a few seconds to generate the hair. You can see the transition between the different levels. Maybe the hair is too thin. But I don't like this here. First of all, let me decrease the hair width at the roots, like this, and a little bit more like this. Let me add a point here and decrease it like this. There you go. So I don't like this here. I want to see the roots, and here the roots just disappear. These roots that you can see here, they are just gone. So what I'm going to do is uh, decrease the opacity of the level 1 to 80%, maybe 70%. Yes, and decrease the level 2 to 55%. And export again. Reload the map. Yeah, much better now, but still, it can be improved. Let's go to level 0 and decrease the opacity 40%. There you go. I don't like that I can see this line here. And I think the hair on the level 2 is too long. So let's work first on the level 2. Let's get the right length of the level. The level 2 here. I'm going to increase it by 10%. Not yet. 10% more. Okay, let's reload the map. Okay, this node is not helping let me, yeah, I will work on the guides to remove this so we don't have to use this push away from surface. Um, but for now, let's use it and decrease the distance. Because I don't, you know what? Let's reduce the effect here in the curve. Exactly. Yes, like this. Okay, yes. Back to the level 2. I think it's still too long. Mm, another 10%. You know what? Let's go to 80%. And reload the map here. Yes. Yes, that's better. Now what I want to do is try to remove this line because it doesn't look like the reference at all. I want to create a smoother transition between those two lengths, the level 1 and the level 2. And we are just, first I'm going to try with the blur brush. Blur it a bit more, increase the strength, and blur it like this. Blur, blur, blur. Blur, blur, blur. And keep blurring. Okay. There you go. Much better. Maybe a bit more on the back because I can see some like these hairs here, these lines here, like a broken line here, like this. So let's try to fix that. I want it to look very smooth and nice. Give me a second. I want to check the audio because sometimes my audio breaks. I want to check if it's working okay. Uh, David Baran, you have a question. Is the issue with the fading texture inside the distribution multiplier a bug that will be fixed, or is that a normal behavior? Yes, that's a normal behavior because what you are using there is a multiplier map. It will multiply the value in the texture with the value in the hair. So that's actually how it works. It's not a bug. It might be improved in the future, but that's by design. Right now, that's how it works. So um, to work around that, you can do what I did. You can use a length map. This question was half an hour ago and I just saw it. If you can let me know if my audio is working okay. It breaks sometimes. I just want to make sure you can hear me fine. Give me a second. I want to check. Okay, it looks like it's working. Okay, let's continue. Let me export the map and go back to Maya. Reload. Perfect. It's working perfectly. Hello, Torach. Torach Rosrabi. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. Thank you. David Baran have another question. Yes, thanks for the answer. And yes, the audio is working. Is working. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, let's continue. As you can see on the back, the fading looks much better now. We are approaching some nice fading here. Yes. Yeah. So another thing I want to do is if you check in your own head, in your own hair, you may have hairs that go down your neck like this, and you have your hairline over here like this, but you have hair all over this area, very small hair. I want to make that right now, but not this low. Maybe like this, maybe like this. So I want to improve the back a little bit this way. Right now it looks too clean. I don't like the way it looks, like too clean, too clean. Yes. What I'm going to do here, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to add a layer on top. I'm going to name these neck hairs and use white with very low strength and paint here like this. And just see what happens. Let's see what happens there.